pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans and our first responders. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll entertain a motion for approval of bills and payroll.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Rivera.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Resolved to approve a request by the Mineola Athletic Association to schedule its opening day parade for Saturday, April 1st, 2023, starting at 10 a.m. along the route that's listed below.
Okay, I can't believe we're talking baseball already, an opening day for the MAA, and if you have not had an opportunity, check out the improvements down at the Little League field. So we are hoping, we're confident that those will be ready for opening day, which is 70 days away. And the Little League Parade alternates from year to year. Some years it starts on the west end of the village, some years on the east end of the village. This year it starts on the east end of the village at Wilson Park, and it ends at the Little League Complex. And that is on Saturday, April 1st, starting at 10 a.m. We'd love to see you all out there. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Chacon?
Good evening, Mayor, Board,
Good
John
evening.
G.
Good evening.
Resolved to approve the list of volunteer firefighter LoSAP points accumulation for the year 2022 as submitted by the Mineola Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay, and this is just an administrative undertaking. Firefighters have to accumulate a certain number of points, and we have a list of the firefighters who did. I'm happy to report that both of the firefighters on the dais here did meet the points, so along with most of our firefighters. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the list of volunteer firefighters for LoSAP points.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Mr. Rini, saving the best for last.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board,
Good evening.
Good evening.
and Mr. Gibbons.
Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. The first item I have for your consideration this evening is a request for a resolution to authorize the purchase of one new Matthew MC-110 vacuum sweeper for the parking garages from Sourcewell contract number 093021 FAY. The vendor on that is Northeast Sweepers and Rentals Incorporated. Total cost is $140,327.14, and the funding source is the 2022-2023 general fund budget and/or the general fund unreserved fund balance.
Okay, so these are street sweepers that are built exclusively to operate in tight and low quarters, such as parking garages, and we are now going to use this to clean the parking garage on Harrison, the parking garage on Main and Second Street, First Street, and also the one behind 200 Old Country Road. Would that
We will
be
try
yours?
and get that over there, yes.
Okay, so I think this is a great investment, and this is also something that could potentially be paid out of monies allocated by the Third Track project. So we will pay it out of, as Mr. Rini said, either the general fund or the unreserved fund balance, and then we will try to recoup that money from the monies of the community development funds that the Long Island Railroad and MTA put together for the Third Track project. Hope that makes sense. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
How quickly would we get this delivered, Mr. Rini?
That I have to find out once I give them a purchase order what the delivery time frame would be. But
Okay, and I
they
know
didn't
that
seem
you,
to think it would be very difficult, so.
right, and you did a test run with it, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep,
worked
if
great.
it's in the garages, it's not a problem.
Okay, Great. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item I have is a request for a resolution to authorize the purchase of 17 Flowbird solar-powered Strata Rapid multi-space color display parking meter kiosks from NCPA contract number 05-39. The vendor is DeVoe and Associates. Total cost is $134,785.35. And again, the funding source is the 2022-2023 general fund budget and/or the general fund unreserved fund balance. As we've done here on Jericho Turnpike, we have the meter kiosks there. It allows us to take the meters down and use them in other areas. These 17 are earmarked for the downtown area, Mineola Boulevard, Main Street, in front of the hospital, and in areas like that where we can get those meters off the street. We'll still use the posts for the numbers on the spaces on the ground, but it'll, clean up those areas a bit.
Right, and it also addresses the issues that it's becoming tougher and tougher to find replacement parts for meters that break down, and we know that oftentimes residents and visitors alike are frustrated because a meter may be broken or out of order, and this, of course, also allows for payments in credit card and cash, and it's certainly aesthetically, I think, for the downtown, it works. This is something that Mr. Reedy and myself and Mr. Ramiglietti, the parking supervisor, have discussed for some time. They did a study of the area, and so we think that these 17 multi-space kiosks will do the job down there, and I think that this is going to be a vast improvement over these old meters that we can then repurpose or cannibalize, if you will, for
Correct.
other parts of the village as well. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Solosky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. And this next request goes along with that, and it's a request for a resolution authorizing the purchase of 10 McKay MK Beacon dual-space solar parking meters and 6 McKay MK Beacon single-space solar parking meters from NCPA contract number 05-37. Again, the vendor is DeVoe and Associates. Total cost is $13,695, and the funding source is the 2022-2023 general fund budget and/or the general fund unreserved fund balance. And again, this goes part and parcel with those kiosks in areas where we can't use a kiosk because there's not enough parking spaces to make it economical for us to do so. So these will fill those gaps. We already have 5 of these on Second Street by the hospital's
Research facility.
and also on the corner there of Third and Second. So we're going to start to expand the use of these as well in areas where we don't or can't use a kiosk.
And these take credit cards as well?
As well.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
So this is, again, part of our conversation from early on about kind of modernizing, upgrading, and kind of meeting the demands of the community. And these are in areas where it wouldn't make sense to put a kiosk to cover 3 or 4 spots.
Right.
We're putting these instead. And I will also add that this and the previous item, again, because it's near the train station, it has to do with transportation, that we will also try to recoup this money from the MTA Long Island Railroad third track project as well. So we'll lay out the money, and then we will hopefully, I think.
Seek reimbursement. Yeah.
Seek reimbursement, and I think we will be successful. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The next item I have for your consideration is a request for a resolution to authorize the Superintendent of Public Works and the Supervisor of Water Plant Operations to attend the AWWA New York Section Water Conference in Saratoga Springs, New York, from Monday, April 10th through Thursday, April 13th. Approximate cost is $2,000, and the funding source is the 2022-2023 Water Fund budget. Again, this is an annual conference that Jim Martin and I go to. Very educational, also very, it helps us a lot, knowing all the newer things that are coming at us, like the emerging contaminants and things like that. So it keeps us, it keeps us current with everything that's going on right now. And there's going to be big discussions about, where the health department is going with these, new emerging contaminants. And the maximum contaminant levels that they're going to allow that are very difficult for us to get to, but we do everything we can to get to them, so.
Okay, absolutely, and it's certainly well spent, and I know that we have benefited from you and Mr. Martin attending this by getting ahead of the curve on, ordering the GACs and knowing what's coming up, and certainly these days, when it comes to water, we have to be proactive because everyone's in the same boat, everyone's scrambling,
Right.
and I think that we have been very well prepared, and that includes, getting that information as soon as possible. So I will certainly entertain a motion for approval.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the final item I have is a request for a resolution to authorize the superintendent of public works to attend the Nikon Public Works Training School Planning Committee meeting on Friday, June 2nd in Oneonta, New York. Approximate cost is $200, and the funding source is the 2022-2023 general fund budget. And I'm a member of the planning committee for the statewide conference that we run for Public Works, and this is where we decide on all the classes that we'll be offering and what kind of credits can be offered and things like that. So there's a few of us from Long Island, and I think there's 3 of us that go from Long Island, and the rest are all from upstate.
Okay, and this is a one-day conference? or
Just one day,
meeting?
yep,
Right,
yep.
okay.
I'll go up late Thursday afternoon. We start first thing 8 in the morning and generally done by like 4 o'clock, so.
Excellent. Entertain a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, that's all I have unless anybody has questions for me.
Any questions? Nope, okay.
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Marini.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbons?
No report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be out in 10 minutes for the public meeting portion. Right now, I'll entertain a motion to close the work session.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Salaski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll see you in 10 minutes.